Hello, and welcome to Positive Vibes from the Valley. I'm your host, and I work for the Northwestern Prevention Collaborative as their community liaison and training coordinator. This week, we are looking at physical wellness. So each week, we look at a different dimension of the eight dimensions of health. And this week, we're going to be looking at physical wellness with our guest, Heather. Hello, Heather. Thanks for being here today.
Hey, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. No complaints.
Good, good, good. Well, Heather, and Heather, I'll let you tell a little bit more about yourself, but you are a local personal trainer here. You're a fitness manager. I know you teach group classes, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, what your day-to-day looks like, how long you've been in the field?
Sure. I actually started in the fitness realm by accident. When I was like 15 years old, I started taking group fitness classes, fell in love with group fitness. Actually, my first group fitness class was like jazzercise. So I don't know who remembers jazzercise, but there it was. That's what got me hooked. Um, and so I just started taking more classes, and one of my favorite instructors, her uh, her actual work, like her full-time work schedule changed. So her evening time slots became available, and the manager came to me and said, here, we've heard you're really good. They think you like the instructor thought you'd be really good. Here's your 4:30 time slot on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do with these people? But I started to learn. So like my dad's a martial artist. So I had like a cardio, like kickboxing background. I started teaching cardio kickboxing. It's kind of snowballed. I taught there for years. Like I said, knew I wanted to be in fitness, knew I eventually want to own my own studio or be a manager of a studio somewhere. So I went to school and got my business degree, and then my certifications for group fitness and personal training. Um, Worked at another local wellness facility for a while, then opened my own training studio for about 6 years. And then, due to some kind of life changes, ended up back in the wellness field again. So now I'm here at Sentara RMH, where I transitioned from group fitness or being the group fitness coordinator into the site manager or over fitness here, where I kind of oversee the group fitness instructors, the personal trainers, the fitness floor, and kind of the behind the scenes day-to-day things that go on.
Wow, it's crazy. You started off kind of falling into something, really cultivating and learning your passion, and then setting those goals and really crushing them. I mean, that's incredible. Great work. I mean, that's something really to be proud of.
It was, like I said, it was kind of totally by accident. And then, yeah, just one thing led to another. And here I am.
A little hard work, a little persistence, it goes a long way.
That's right. And sometimes just kind of wandering through life. But yeah, it was good. It's fun.
Well,
It's a very rewarding field.
well, considering your extensive experience and kind of some different backgrounds there, I'm
Um,
going to give you the textbook definition of physical wellness, and I feel like you'll have a little more to add on that.
Fair enough.
But so SAMHSA defines physical wellness as recognizing the need for physical activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition. So that's pretty broad.
Mhm.
That's pretty broad definition there. And I thought my first question would be for you, how would you define physical wellness?
So for me, physical wellness is, I mean, it's kind of broad too, but it's encompassing. I mean, it's the physical, it's the mental, it's emotional, spiritual, kind of all together. But being able to do normal activities day to day, whether you're a mom with small children or you're somebody with a dog or whatever it is, but that you have these activities that you want to be able to do. To me, physical wellness is being able to do it and feel good doing it.
I think that's a great answer. I think sometimes it's interesting. So we talk a lot about the balance between all eight dimensions of wellness,
Mhm.
and it's interesting how each dimension in of itself requires a balance, such as physical. Talking about the difference between
Yes.
sleeping the right amount, getting adequate nutrition, exercising enough but not too much. I know one myth and one issue that I personally struggle with, and I'm sure some of our listeners do
Mhm.
too, is getting that differentiation between physical wellness and quote unquote fitness and the new kind of trends that are always popping up around that. Could you help make that distinction for us and help explain some of the differences between the more kind of trend setting ideas and maybe some of the new trendy fitness versus actual physical wellness and how those two look different?
So yeah, and I think you're exactly right. There's always something new coming out. There's a piece of new equipment, there's a new diet, there's a new exercise, there's new something that is always the latest and greatest. And sometimes I feel like we take fitness and make it more complicated than what it needs to be. It is very individual. And if overall wellness is your goal, um, if you come to me and you have that goal, me telling you to put 450 pounds and squat on the squat rack, while to somebody else may be like, yeah, you're gonna look at me and be like, I just want to walk my dog. But it's like finding something that works for you and like finding whether it's a home gym, videos, a group fitness class, a wellness center, somebody that you can kind of go to ask questions and get solid advice about you and how, based on your goals, your needs, your injuries, your past history, whatever that is, and not just because Instagram said this exercise is the greatest, latest, you've got to do it today and you've got to do it 3 times a day. But actually finding something that's going to work for you and that you can maintain and continue on a daily basis for an extended period of time.
I think you bring up a great point too about there not being a kind of blanket term for physical wellness, as in each person may have different ideas of what that can look like. And while we could maybe all agree that particular hours of sleep or maybe certain types of nutrition or diet are all important, the various ways of physical exercise or making the diet itself work can vary from person to person. Uh,
Definitely. And I think
so
that we get a lot of the questions. Somebody comes in and says, I want to work on my, of course, core. I want to work on my abdominals, or it's very spot specific. And I always am telling everybody, it's not that easy. Like there's a lot of factors. Like it's not complicated because fitness isn't, I don't want to make it seem like it's complicated, but it's not like we can target. It's an overall health approach. And it's got to be something that you enjoy and you can keep going, from what you're eating, the exercises that you're doing, the activities that you're participating in. It kind of has to be an overall approach.
So are you saying if I come in and say I just want a six pack and big arms, it's not that easy? Wait a minute.
It's no, I wish it was. I wish I had that magic pill, but I don't.
It sounds like a comprehensive approach, even to physical wellness, is the best approach. And one thing, kind of keeping with that idea of fads popping up and a lot of information swirling around out there, I want to talk about our youth. Um, you know, with coming up and learning and kind of really getting that, access to new information. How do you recommend people get the right answers about physical wellness? But there's so much out there. How do you know what's right, who to listen to, what's wrong? What are your thoughts?
Um, so I would say really, uh, as with anything, kind of do your research. If you have access to a local facility or wellness facility that will have health coaches or personal trainers or dietitians or anything like that, explore that, get to know them so that you feel comfortable with those relationships and finding information there. Um, any like research or articles through like really recognized organizations, maybe the American Council on Exercise, the American College of Sports Medicine, um, even I was trying to think, even like group fitness stuff. They have great articles too for some of the organizations like that. But really pulling from resources that have like the research and stuff behind it, not that it's anything wrong and that your favorite person on Instagram doesn't have a background in it, but just do a little, like I would say, do a little digging, see if they're certified through one of the reputable organizations, and just kind of be your own advocate, because I think there is so much information and there's so much media and peer pressure to not necessarily do physical fitness for wellness, but to look a certain way or to fit into a certain, like a little box, especially, and I know this being a female and growing up and going through this, whatever. You get a lot of pressure from different ways, and you need to look this way, you need to look that way. And everybody's different. Everybody's body type's different. And physical wellness is not about being a size 2 and, being able to buy whatever. But it's about feeling good and being able to do the things that you want to do. So yeah, it's about finding what works for you. And those reputable organizations, like I said, they've got good research behind them. They'll give you like safe exercises to do and kind of go from there.
I think that's a great point as well about, finding reputable information, talking to professionals and getting that information in. And something you said that I really think is important for myself personally. I remember getting into physical fitness in the beginning and thinking, hey, it's all about the aesthetic,
Yep.
look a certain way.
Yep.
And as you progress, you realize it's so much more. I mean, like you said, feeling good, feeling a certain way, being able to do the things that you want to do. And I do really like the examples you provided earlier, even as something as simple as a mother being able to go to the park with her kids or a dad being able to play catch. Really, that's what we're looking for.
Yes.
And I know you said, so doing some research, contacting those reputable, sites, but where do you feel like is the best place to start for a total novice who says, hey, I want to improve my physical wellness overall, and I'm looking to get started. How do they begin that conversation? Who in particular should they talk to? Would it be, a front desk associate or a personal trainer at a local facility? Where do you think the best place to really just get started on your journey?
So let's see, probably the best place, and it's just like everything else. I would encourage people to go in, tour different places. If you're looking for a facility per se, and you want to have that connection there, go to different places, walk around, see how they feel, what kind of vibes you get. Talk to, of course, the membership and the front desk. They're going to have a good overall view of things and maybe different programs that are offered. But then I would suggest talking to a personal trainer or a health coach in that facility and going through, really talking about what you want to accomplish, what you've done. And there's no, there's no right or wrong. There's no, even if you've never done a thing in your life, I mean, that's not a right or wrong. Everybody starts where they start for a reason. And then talking to that professional is going to be able to get you going wherever that may be, where that starting point is. Whether you were a college athlete that hasn't done anything in 20 years, or you just didn't really like fitness, but now your doctor says, you really should get moving. They're really going to be able to kind of start you and point you in that direction. There are a lot of online sources too that will do like online coaching. And in that case, like I said, I would just say do your research. Like if you come across, and I happen to know this, am I allowed to say specific programs or am I not?
Sure.
Like Noom is, for example, is out there. I haven't heard as much about it recently, but I do know that they vet and go through certified trainers and health coaches and stuff like that. So just kind of doing the research and making sure that the individuals or whoever's on the other side of that call, has some background behind them and it's coming.
It's good to know too that there are different mediums and different avenues of approach
Mm-hmm.
for getting started versus, my thoughts initially when I began was to go to a local facility and check in. And, the world has changed certainly within the last year. But
Right.
as a whole, with more online capabilities, more online coaching, more online opportunities like that. Plus, we're moving a bit away from the kind of brick and mortar gym facility.
Exactly. Yes.
I think it's important too that people understand that they can get physical exercise, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, vigorous cardiovascular activity. It doesn't have to be weightlifting. There's so many things you can do. And something you said, Heather, that I think is really fantastic is about um, just getting moving,
Yes.
just getting moving. And so now, Heather, I gotta put you on the spot here.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So how do you regulate your own physical wellness? Imagine being in a facility, all the time, teaching others, coaching others, training others all the time. It's taxing and it takes energy, and you yourself are instructing and you're matching that energy. How do you find time to regulate your own physical wellness?
Well, and perfectly honest, we're like everybody else. It ebbs and it flows. There are good days, there are bad days, there are good seasons, there are bad seasons. Um, just in the fact that, I mean, it depends on what life is throwing at us. If there's a time that I am teaching a ton of classes, um, no, I'm not working out on my own. Or I have a long day and I've trained a lot or I've done whatever. I may not get in a specific workout, but I just try to like get back in a routine as soon or as much as I can, whether that's even if it's just body weight exercises. Like when we first closed down, for example, back last March when pretty much the whole world closed down. Even though I was here, it was weird to be here when it was closed. Like, it was like, I don't know that I want to work out in here. It's like everybody thinks, oh, it was closed. You had access to everything. But it was like, I don't know, it was weird. So like my workouts, I would walk my neighborhood. And then you maybe do some body weight squats or something at home. Just to kind of keep myself going. Since reopening, I actually haven't taught as much, so I've been able to do my own workouts. And I just usually aim for, most days of the week. Some days it's 30 minutes, some days it's a little more, some days it's a little less. But I always think it's something that I enjoy, and I gravitate towards full body stuff and just, yeah, overall wellness.
Well, and that's great, and it sounds like you've been able to adapt and change your avenues of
Mhm.
approach as well. And you talked a lot about being able to incorporate that physical activity. Do you feel like maybe sometimes if you're really busy at work and you're really exerting yourself and you can't maybe get that physical activity in that you want, do you feel like maybe the other areas in physical wellness you maybe pay a little more attention to, such as, hey, I need to really pay attention to my nutrition this week. I've been leaving that out, or maybe because you're working so much, sleep hasn't been exactly where you'd like it to be. Do you feel those others maybe become a little more focused?
Uh, Probably. Um, I would say I don't know that I pay that much. I won't say that I pay that much attention or specific attention to it. Because I'm very much like when I say, like, I always try to encourage everybody to find something that they can do and they can do every day. I very much live by that. So like, I try to keep, um, I try, I try to stick to as much of a routine as I can. Um, and even when things are squirrely, like I give myself grace and I know that life has been crazy. Or like when I moved a couple years ago, when you move, you don't know where pots and pans are. You have no idea which box got shoved in which corner. You're just like, I just need to get whatever I need to eat. Um, but it's a season, and you give yourself grace and you move forward. You listen to your body. Um, let yourself rest when you need to. I think I have friends that are from the UK, and their lifestyle pace is so different. Like, it's like you come over here and if we don't have meetings back to back and phone calls and this and that, and we're not slammed all day long, like we feel like we're not productive, or at least in some situations. And they don't look at like that. It's very much um, a balance effort, and giving yourself time to recover, whether that's mentally or physically, um, from whatever your day has thrown at you. But just realizing that, and knowing that tomorrow's another day, and if you didn't get your workout in today, you can get it in tomorrow, and kind of look at it that way.
I think it's funny how that word balance continues to come into play. We talk about it all the time with the other 8 dimensions and
Hmm.
kind of creating that balance there, but find that balance in your own life. And I really enjoyed what you said there about having the grace to adapt to the new challenges that life's throwing at you. And I think you also mentioned basically going through peaks and valleys with regards to, your physical fitness, but with your overall physical wellness. And wellness is one of those interesting categories. I know you said, hey, I haven't necessarily maybe paid attention to X, Y, or Z, but I feel like it's one of those that when things are going well, when you're sleeping well, you're eating adequately, well, you
Right.
won't notice it. But
Right.
once those things go away, you notice it very quickly.
Right. Yeah. No, I would totally agree. Yeah, I would totally agree.
Well, and I know you've talked about how large of a role physical wellness has played in your career and your education and all those things. I guess the final thing I want to speak to you about is just your overall training philosophy, your kind of philosophy on physical wellness and how that kind of applies to your life. I know we've mentioned that several times, but I just want to hear finally a little more about your overall philosophy.
So I would say overall training philosophy is one, it doesn't have to be complicated. Find something you enjoy doing and do it. Um, for whatever that may be, whether it's walking the dog, whether it's a group fitness class, whether it's a home video that you found that you love. Just do it and be consistent at it. Um, just yeah, find something that you love. That's what I always tell my clients. When I had my studio, when they came in, I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. My goal is to get you to like exercise and want to do it. Because I'd have a couple come in and say, I'm going to hate every minute of this. This is going to be torture. And I'm like, well, first we're going to try to change that mindset because my goal, I want to find something you enjoy. If it's torture, of course you're going to hate it. But if we can incorporate little things that you look forward to each day or that you never thought you can do, and then you can do it, it's going to be fun and it's going to be something that challenges you and uh, pushes you each day and motivates you to keep going.
I think it's hard. We can say that physical wellness is so important and we can be cognitively aware of that, but then to put that in play can be a little bit difficult. Um, I do think so. Just kind of recapping, physical wellness obviously is super important, and it plays a huge role, in balancing those other dimensions. If you're missing out on sleep, if you're missing out on adequate nutrition, if you're not getting that physical activity in, nothing else is really going to be up to par. You're going to be lacking in all of those areas.
Yeah.
We can see obviously it's important to cultivate that love of physical wellness in our youth. And we can see with you, Heather, how things have turned out, how well you've done, and how it seems to be very important in your life. And the great thing is hearing your own grace, your own acceptance of the different challenges that this dimension may present in your life. So I want to say thank you so much, Heather, for coming on to the show and answering
Yeah,
our question.
definitely.
It was great having you and hearing your opinion for sure. Um, I will give a little sneak peek of our next episode. So we're going to move from physical wellness into environmental wellness and talking about how some of those different factors can play a role in our life. I'd also like to give a shout out to our social media, our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channels, and then to go check out our website. And then, Heather, for the Sentara Wellness Center, where
Mhm.
can we go to learn more about that and to check that out and to speak to one of those professionals you mentioned?
Yeah, definitely. So, if you would like to check more out and see a little bit more about us, go to rmhwellnesscenter.com, or you can check us out on Facebook. And again, it is RMH Wellness Center. Since we were the Rockingham Memorial Hospital prior to our merger, some people kind of put the Sentara in there and they don't find us specifically, but it's rmhwellnesscenter.com, and you'll get a list of all of our services and programs and classes.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again so much for joining us today, Heather. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you again soon. So, again, thanks so much for coming. I'm your host, Ryan, and come back again for more positive vibes from the Valley.
Awesome. See ya.